Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Gonna get started with the before market close video and ticket requests. Today's Monday. It is December 4th, brand new week, brand new month, and last month of 2023. Time flies, but wow, it's been a crazy start to the week, and this is what we want to see leading into the end of the year here. As I mentioned, I did expect a pretty sizable weekly pullback, but we're still not getting that. But I still expect we're more than likely going to pull back on the weekly time frame and then see a pretty significant dip, and then one last chance to buy the dip, in my opinion, before we see a final blow off top and market euphoric rally into the end of the year, potentially into first quarter of 2024, spillage into the second quarter. But I am in the camp still of believing that in 2024, more than likely in that May area, it'll be a sell in May, go away is where we'll potentially start the multi-year bear market on the broader market. So like I said, now's the time to start being cautious, but it's definitely a great start to the week. But again, this is usually when people get caught. This is usually when we get that euphoric back into the market, that euphoria, and then people start to get complacent, and we get the pullback that everybody is expecting when we least expect it. So right now, I did mention Bitcoin for a while was a target of 42K, and we actually hit that over the weekend and today. So yeah, today the high of the resistance break, 42,159. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we started to pull back on Bitcoin now after this daily bull flag target was met. So we had our low, our high, our brief high or low, and anything over 31,793 was a potential for a daily bull flag. SPY did a very similar pattern as well, with a low, high, brief high or low, and higher high. So that increased the odds that we were more than likely going to see that on Bitcoin as well. And then MSOS, very similar pattern as well. Low, high, higher, low, but it pulled back a lot more than Bitcoin and the S&P 500, but it was still a similar scenario where we had a brief daily higher low, and then we confirmed the daily bull flag with a break of 702. Even if you entered on a break of 702, that would be a swing trade of about almost 8%. But again, I wasn't as confident in that playing out because of the fact that the S&P 500, the S&P 500 already hit its daily bull flag target. So it was a little bit more risk, in my opinion. And we're starting to go the other way, but we're just barely starting daily consolidation today on the S&P 500. But Bitcoin, like I said, hit its 42K target. And after this, we have no weekly or monthly resistance until 48,240. So we could see a bit more legs in this rally. But like I said, it's been a long time since we've consolidated. It's now going on 8 weeks, almost 9 weeks, or 56 days since we've seen a weekly consolidation period. So the next support level is all the way down at 26,521 on Bitcoin. So don't be surprised if over the next week or two, maybe 3, we see a pretty sizable pullback. And then the media is going to be saying, the bear market's back and, we're going to 10K. But it'll more than likely just be a healthy weekly high or low, somewhere around EMA 12 and 26. And that would put us around 35K to 32K. More than likely come back down and form a weekly higher low. And if we take our measured move here from, so let's just get rid of that, and then our daily bull flag target here. Too many fibs going on at the moment. So if we take our low to the high here, let's just say this is our high of the bounce. Anything over 36,267 on weekly consolidation would be a weekly bull flag. And then if that were to play out, we would take our measured move from low to the high here. Let's say we get consolidation and weekly pullback over the next couple of weeks. That would put us up to around 58K. So we'll be watching for a potential weekly bull flag target. In order to confirm it, we would have to come down, form a weekly higher low, hold the 0.32 fib there at 36,267, and then break to a higher high. So we would still need to start weekly consolidation and then break resistance after holding key support. So we're still very, very early in this pattern. It's a good chance that it doesn't play out as well, because at the moment we have barely any resistance. Like I said, down to 26,000. So if we were to lose the 0.32, then we have some support there at around 34,000, and then the golden pocket there at 32. So we'll just continue to monitor it. But as of right now, bulls are in full control in terms of crypto movers and shakers on the day today. We have LBC, SGB, and FBTC, followed by BCH. So BCH having a good day today. Bitcoin Cash. and starting the weekly bounce. But yeah, on the day today, we're up almost 12%. Library token from the low of the day to the high of the day up 241%. Wow. Pretty much daily oversold to daily overbought in one daily candle. Not sure what's going on there, but might be something with regards to a lawsuit update. XMR, Sol, and BTC shorts leading the decline. Actually, it was Solo, rather, not Sol. Sol was actually our fourth biggest loser today, and that was to be expected. We're still extremely healthy at the moment, though. We're back in a daily uptrend as well with low, high, higher, low, and higher high. So alt season likely not too far away, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm anticipating alt season into the beginning of 2024. And then, like I said, it should run, I think, at least into March-ish, February, March. And then potentially into April, we'll see. But I think there's a good chance that we could start it over the next call it 3 to 6 months. And then that'll probably be the top indicator and marker in the broader market and in crypto. And then, like I said, if we can see, tech and crypto enter a bear market, I think that's going to pave the way for some of the sectors that didn't really participate in the everything bubble of 2022 and 2023. And the first sector that comes to mind is MJ. And usually when something doesn't participate, like when a sector like MJ doesn't participate in a broader market rally, it did briefly there in February 2021, right? We all recall that. But then it went into a multi-year bear market, and a lot of names like crypto and tech stocks were hitting new all-time highs. Take a look at Microsoft, take a look at Meta, NVDA, right? So it's just a matter of time before MJ has the spotlight. But like I said, I think that the fact that it didn't participate, and then not only that, it's the amount of catalysts that we have from a fundamental perspective with MJ, right? We have so many catalysts coming on the horizon. We have the MJ Act for review here in Canada. We have Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida potentially on the ballot. We have legalization of medical in the U.S. potentially. We have uplisting of the NYSE and the NASDAQ, safer banking. We've got rescheduling. So we've got all the catalysts that we need. Germany coming online. I see the vote was delayed until 2024, but we got all the catalysts that we could need. And like I said, the fact that the technicals just didn't really make sense. We didn't participate in the everything bubble, and in my opinion, that is 100% manipulation. But eventually, they're gonna unleash the shackles, and we'll be able to see a multi-year bull market and steal the spotlight, in my opinion. But like I said, the S&P 500 has already hit its daily bull flag target. Bitcoin already hit its daily bull flag target as well. And then very much due for weekly consolidation. So again, what did I say last week? It was a simple if-then statement. If we hold the low of last week this week, then bulls are in full control. No major red flags. But right now it's a weekly inside bar, so this week is going to be very telling. So an inside bar just means this candle, whatever time frame it's on, weekly, daily, monthly, doesn't matter. When we're within the same candle, the previous candle, it's a tightening range and usually an equilibrium on a lower level time frame, but it's an inside bar on the weekly time frame. So we have a clear support and resistance level. The support level, which is the absolute key support right now, is the weekly of last week. So for the low of last week, 453.34. If we lose that, we start weekly consolidation, which will be the first time in 42 days in six weeks, right? And then we would more than likely anticipate a pretty sizable pullback there to around 443 and then 436, which is the weekly EMAs. And then, like I said, there's also that gap at 441 in the chart. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we started to break that support over the next week or two. But key resistance is going to be 459.65, which is the high of this bounce. And then after that, it's the all-time high at 467.13. So keep in mind, we broke the weekly downtrend with this break of lower high, lower low pattern. Once we broke it here on this week of November 6th, we broke this lower high, and then we were no longer in a weekly downtrend, but we still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend. So when you have this big of a move off of the low there and no weekly higher low and higher high and uptrend confirmed, and that much volatility to the upside, what would we expect when we start weekly consolidation? More than likely, a lot of volatility to the downside, right? Because we still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend, and we would still need that weekly higher low. So it's just another simple if-then statement. If we hold 453.34, then no weekly consolidation, bulls are in full control. And if we break resistance at 459.65, we continue the weekly bounce for the 6th week in a row. And then if we start weekly consolidation, look for a higher low somewhere around that 440, mid 440s to mid 430s. Which one do you think is going to run first, MJ or altcoins? I think altcoins will run first. We could see it simultaneously, but I think like there's no way MJ is going to get back to an all-time high, right, before alt season. So MJ could run like we're seeing it today, right? CDC currently up over 21% at the moment. But that's just because the risk on assets are back in the spotlight as well, right? And then people are just looking for places to put their money, and there's kind of some sector rotations going on. But at the end of the day, MJ could run simultaneously because it doesn't take a whole lot of dollar volume to move these names based on how beaten down they are and how low their market caps are. But, crypto, I think crypto is going to see, alt season where we're going to see multiple coins popping off, hitting new all-time highs, and just tons of euphoria in the alt season sector, in the altcoin sector, right? So I think that MJ could run simultaneously, but we wouldn't be in that euphoric stage where, you throw a dart and you win sort of thing where, every MJ stock's hitting new all-time highs and 52-week highs. I think we're at least, maybe a year or two away from that happening. But like I said, that doesn't mean there won't be opportunity, but that's a great question. I just think that right now, my biggest play right now is to focus on the alt season, the altcoins with utility, the names that haven't really popped off and hit their new all-time highs yet. Your XRPs, your XLMs, your Litecoins, your Links, your Algos. I think those are going to be great plays over alt season. And then when all of those coins start to hit new all-time highs, that's when I'll be locking in profit. And then hopefully by then I can rotate some of those profits into more beaten down MJ. And then, like I said, into the end of the year here, we still have tax loss harvesting until I think it was the 27th of December because stocks take 3 days to settle yet. Excuse me. And then we would have a brand new TFSA contribution room for Canadians as well. So I'll be adding my allowable contribution room, which I think is going to be 6,500 again for 2023. So that'll be interesting to see if prices remain low in MJ. But yeah, we're at the mercy of the broader market right now. And like I said, if the S&P 500 were to see significant weekly consolidation, that's going to be lots of selling pressure on the market and the rest of the sectors. Maybe that is a dumb question since you don't have a crystal ball. No, not at all. That's a complete valid question. And yeah, obviously we don't know for sure, but we can take our best guess and we can look at, we can look at the charts, we can look at the technicals, we can look at the fundamentals, and we can, form our best educated guess. But that really is all it is, right? Is a guess because we don't know for sure. So, you can just kind of take the data day by day as it comes, right? And then we can form more of a thesis. But as of right now, that's basically been my thesis for a while. I'm pretty sure I even did a video on it. I don't know when I did it. It was a long time ago. But yeah. Alt season. Cannabis stocks. Bull market beginning after crypto alt season. So that was 6 months ago. So again, we don't know when. Excuse me. Frog in my throat or something. Gonna have a drink of water. Yeah, we don't know when. That time, it's hard to predict time, but the actual event is still very plausible. So even if it's 6 months, even if it's 12 months after I made that video, MJ still probably isn't going to enter a multi-year bull market, in my opinion, until crypto enters a multi-year bear market, and then tech stocks as well. And that's still completely valid right now because, like I said, alt seasons is heating up. Who was it? Someone commented today too. I think it was CZ. Where'd it go? Yeah, there's a lot of crypto news coming in today. Yep, here it is. Former Binance CEO CZ announces alt season. And then, yeah, this could be the mother of all bull runs. We got BlackRock, we got all these applicants for ETFs at the moment. This could be a crazy couple of months ahead. But yeah, you can just go down to. There's also this link here. Where is it? Crypto alt season index. And this has to do with the Bitcoin dominance, and we can bring up the Bitcoin dominance chart as well to kind of get some clues. So we are hitting daily overbought, so it's not surprising to see Bitcoin performing better. But on a monthly time frame, we're still breaking to monthly higher highs, and we do have this resistance line coming into play here. And you could draw it somewhere using the real candle bodies there, ignoring the upper wicks. Yeah, it's saying that we could see Bitcoin dominance go to about 56, maybe even 60, and then pull back, right? We had this descending triangle that never played out, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we did see Bitcoin drop down to that 30% dominance in the next alt season. And we already had the EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the monthly time frame as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if a top was being set here this month. This or next month. We get, as we know, January is a very coveted and anticipated date for multiple spot Bitcoin ETF approval. So if we get that in January, that lines up well with the chart resistance, and then we would come back down, and then we would see it all alt season into, you know, maybe March, April. Start somewhere around, you know, January, February, and then end in April. I think is a very likely scenario, and then sell in May and go away is where we see the multi-year bear market begin. At least a year bear market, in my opinion. It could be very short-lived, though, because of the amount of adoption and big players that we have coming at hand. But if we do get a spot Bitcoin ETF approval, you have to remember that usually those events are liquidation events, right? So they're usually exit liquidity for the market makers. So and remember, when they approve it, it'll likely be a few months before they start trading. So that's what they'll probably do. It'll be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Once it starts to go live, then they'll use that as a way to pawn it off on retail, right? Everybody will be able to buy it easily through an ETF, through their original stockbroker. People start piling in. You know, could it be at 100 grand by then? Maybe it hits a new all-time high. Maybe it's at 75 to 100 grand, and then the thing starts trading, and then people start buying in anticipation of higher, you know, prices and profits, and then that's actually when we get exit liquidity. So I think that could very well happen. Man, I really hope MJ stays low. Yeah, I do too. It'd be honestly a dream come true if we can see alt season and then MJ stay low. But I mean, even if MJ were to run 200, 300% from current levels, that's still extremely low compared to where it was in February 2021 or all-time highs, right? I'm gonna take a look at that video. Thanks. Yeah, you bet. No problem. Yeah, it's great to go back and use it and look back on it, right? So. And we were expecting September, October for a potential alt season there like a year ago, like this time, you know, just over a year ago. But, you know, we had the FTX debacle. And again, I think that was a government psyop. But like, there's no way that, you know, this company is worth billions of dollars, loses billions and billions of dollars of customer funds. And they, you know, some geek came out of nowhere and they were like managing the whole company on QuickBooks. Like absolute, you know, sham in my opinion. I think that was a definitely an inside job, and they use that to bring down the market and then reel in all the other exchanges, right? Because that's the on-ramp, right? How do you regulate the industry? You focus on the on-ramp and the off-ramps, right? Where the money, fiat money, goes in and out, and that's exactly what they did. They sued Binance, and you know, you look at Terra Luna, they sued Binance, FTX went under. Coinbase, right? They even approved Coinbase's IPO and then later on sue them. Like just absolutely, you know, stupidity and manipulation. But the dollar starting the daily oversold bounce, so exactly what we would expect. We are starting the weekly bounce as well, but we did lose the weekly uptrend, and then we confirmed a weekly downtrend with a lower high and lower low. So that means zoom out to the monthly time frame and look for monthly consolidation. That's what we got over the last month. And then we got a brand new month. This month it's an inside bar at the moment, but we could still see our EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. And then I think this was a massive bull trap here. We had a monthly downtrend confirming. Whoops. We had a monthly downtrend confirming with a high, low, lower high, and lower low. We confirmed it here and confirmed the monthly bear flag target, but this could have been a massive bull trap here, or bear trap for stock owners and equity owners, right? But a bull trap for dollar bulls. And then we come back down, start monthly consolidation, and I think we could be heading very close to monthly oversold and around that low 90s on the DXY. But right now it's a weekly bear flag. So if we take the measured move from the high to the low on this bounce, I'm just going to get rid of this. Oops. Cancel. So high, low, anything under the 0.32 fib there at 104.25 is a potential weekly bear flag. And this could be good for stocks and crypto going into the end of the year. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross rather. So if we take our measured move from the 0.32, it's saying we're targeting about 99. So we're probably going to lose 100 if this confirms. And in order to confirm it, we need to break support at 102.46. If we lose that, we confirm the weekly bear flag, and that's going to be good for stocks and crypto into the end of the year here. But like I said, we're starting the weekly bounce now. We could still, bounce up to around that 104.25 area, and then that could be brief weekly consolidation on the S&P 500 as well. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And like I said, it's all about weekly support there on SPY at, what was it, 453.34. 453.34, yeah. Gold and silver was strong, but pulling back now. On the weekly time frame, pretty big reversal candle there, especially on gold. Daily time frame, just backtesting the daily EMA 12. Same with silver, so no major red flags whatsoever here. And precious metals, I think, is going to be a great place to be in as well into the end of the year. Do you also think that the ETF is a sell the news event also for altcoins? I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions. This is great. Yeah, no worries at all. That's a good question. Like we could get multiple ETFs as well for like eventually when a spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, eventually they're going to approve an Ethereum one, an XRP one, an XLM one. It'll just be a matter of time. So then I think that'll be more of like a rotation game, right? We'll see Bitcoin run. It'll see a ton of gains. Michael Saylor will be looking like the best, the biggest investing hero and guru of all time. I think he's up like $1.6 billion unrealized profit. And we're breaking to higher highs. So if Bitcoin goes back up to all-time highs, 75,000 or 100,000, Michael Saylor is probably going to be, he's probably going to have like $5 billion worth of unrealized profit, maybe even 10 billion, and it could even get higher than that. So then once that happens, the media will come out, the marketing machine, it'll be pumping Bitcoin, and then we'll see Bitcoin probably top out on its monthly resistance dominance around 60%-ish, 58, 60%. And then I think that'll be where we pull back, and then it'll be time for altcoins to pop off. And they won't all pop off at the same time. It'll take turns, right? Money will flow in and flow out. And then, like I said, just have to keep an eye on it. But I think it's not going to be a sell the news for altcoins. No, I think it'll be more of a sell the news event for Bitcoin. And then after that happens, that'll pave the way for alt season, right? As Bitcoin retraces and comes back down, that's when we'll start to see alt season, in my opinion. Hopefully that helps. All right, so Tesla, daily inside bar today, stuck within the range of Friday. So if we break 240.19, we start the daily bounce, and if we break 231.90 support, the low of Friday, then we continue daily consolidation for the third day in a row. But yeah, it was a little bit weaker than the broader market for sure. In terms of individual names on the day today, we have SPCE, CODE, and WNW. And on the bull list, we have BIGG, MBMD, and NDA. So yeah, blockchain names continue to bust higher and increasing bull volume here. GME up over 11% today. Uber is going to be joining the S&P 500. That was some news out today. This is a name I'm extremely bullish on in the long term too, but I just can't add it near all-time highs. I've been waiting on this one, waiting on the price to change. And right now we're breaking a monthly higher high, so we're not far off at all from all-time high. We are like just over 5% away. So I'm going to wait. This is one of the names I'll be accumulating in a bear market. So I didn't get it here in March, or sorry, that wasn't March. That was June 2022. I thought about buying it there. I did add, I did add a little bit there. I think I added like here on this monthly high or low, but it was more like $25. Yeah, I did add it. I do remember now. I did put a very, very small position, but it was basically like nothing. It's like 1% of my overall capital in my investing portfolios, right? So it's like very, very small, just a starter position. I was hoping to get it down closer to around $15, but maybe in the next bear market we'll get back down to around those levels. And like I said, I've just been kind of holding off. I didn't see the value in Uber, right? Like even if off the lows there, it's only up 208%, right? So it's not life-changing wealth. And like I said, I'm focusing on the alt season. I'm focusing on MJ stocks, and then once I get tons of capital, once I get tons of ROI from that and profits, I'm going to be rotating those into multiple tech stocks, and then Uber will be one of them. I did get my Airbnb situation figured out as well. They finally unsuspended my account today, and I'm back in business on Airbnb. But I did a video over the weekend on it, on how I got suspended. It was because there was a fire alarm, but there wasn't an actual fire in the condo or in the building. Somebody apparently like a homeless person was outside, and it was just like on the street. And they were like lit a fire to try to like stay warm, and it like triggered the fire alarm. And sometimes, like, there could be a prank, right? Somebody could pull the thing or hit it inadvertently or burn something in their oven on a different floor. Like there's 200 units. It just didn't make any sense. So anyways, long story short, back in business. And yeah, I mean, Airbnb is a name that I might add, but I'd have to really see this thing down at like 75 to 50 bucks before I would buy it, to be honest. It's like I said, even if we bought this and bought it now, went to all-time highs, you're looking at 65% of upside. Not that much money. So if you're buying Uber, you're buying Airbnb, those stocks, you're looking at like multi years before you get like 10x, right? Whereas some cryptos could do that in like a month. Or MJ, right? CGC in like a month after HHS went up like 5x, 500%. Speaking of CGC, let's take a look at the gainers today. So we have CGC obviously leading the bull list, XTRX and ACB. And then on the bear list, we have PWR, Huge, and IMCC. So yeah, CGC continues its momentum after the sale of its BioSteel business. Did a video on that one as well. And we did have a daily uptrend that confirms. So we had our low, high, higher low, higher high, came down, ended up losing the daily support level. And that was obviously a bear trap rather, but that's another example of when we don't have a clear high or low. So here we had our low, our high, our brief high or low, but it wasn't even enough to consider a pivot point, right? Using the 5 and 5 period pivots. So it factors in every 5 candles based on the amount of pullback. And here it didn't really establish one. It still hasn't established one here, but it should over the next couple of days, in my opinion. But you can see here and this is one of those examples where when we started consolidation, we had support at 53.12 cents. And then we dropped to 52.57 cents. So we barely saw any consolidation there, like 1.25%. And then we broke to a daily higher high. And then when we come down to test that support, generally when it's a brief higher low like that, it's not going to be that strong support because we didn't really pull back that much to indicate a strong support level and higher low. And then here, now we saw our pullback, and this was a convincing daily higher low here, right? Because when we started daily consolidation, we pulled back almost over 8%, right? Almost 10%. And then bulls bought the dip hard. So that was an example of a nice higher low and pivot point being established. And you could tell as well with the lower wicks forming. And then we started the daily bounce here, and then back into daily uptrend, low, high, higher low, and higher high. But we are hitting daily overbought at the moment. And I think Yami wanted to take a look at it as well, one of your ticker requests. So let me just double check that. Yeah, CGC is today's combination of news and technicals. Also, do you think we might confirm a monthly upturn soon after these events? Yeah, so good question. I don't think it's really news. I mean, you could say that it's because of BioSteel, but I mean, that was we already knew that they were, like, for months, right, that they were looking to sell it. And yeah, like 30 millions of proceeds. I don't think that's like that big of a news. I think it's mostly technical and just rotation. We're seeing risk on assets again come to the spotlight, and we're just starting the weekly bounce here. So we started it here on the week of October 30th, and then we got pretty choppy, started the weekly bounce back into weekly consolidation, ended up being another bear trap, and then we started the weekly bounce here. And then, as I mentioned, we're looking for a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. If we get it, which we're not far from seeing it, that'll be the first time since October of 2020. That's over 3 years since we've seen an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. And based on days, you're looking at 1,134 days since we've seen an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. So if we see this EMA 12, the shorter term below the longer term, the 26 period, if those cross, this thing could easily see another 100 to 200% of upside. And yes, you're correct. We're starting the monthly bounce. So again, this is why, we want to enter before this happens, because now is where you start to see, like, off of the low there to where we are now, we're up 62% in just 2 months, right? So we have our low, our high, our brief high or low, and now we're starting a monthly bounce again. So it looks like our monthly high or low is set there, and it was a double bottom at 47 cents. So like, what a great entry there at 47 cents, right? Monthly double bottom. And then we started the monthly bounce. You could have even entered on a break of 67 cents, because if we break 67 cents, we started the monthly bounce. I think I mentioned that in my video. Same with Tilray. If Tilray broke 199, I said we started the monthly bounce, and then it is already up almost 5%. But if we go back to the price action resistance, that is upside potential of about 70%, right? So you could have entered with a break of 199, set your stop below 161. That's another way to do it as well. Essentially, you risk 20% to make 70 to 200% if we go back to EMA 26, which a lot of their names are starting to get back to their EMA 26. Take a look at Curaleaf, for example. It got above its monthly EMA 26, and it already confirmed a monthly uptrend with the low, high, higher low, double bottom. That would have been a nice entry there as well. You could have entered at that double bottom at 348, 345. Could have entered at 348. Said, okay, we have key monthly support. If we lose that, we're no longer in a monthly uptrend, so I wouldn't want to be in it. And then you could have set your stop below 345, so you did 339. You wouldn't have got stopped out. You'd have tons of support there in monthly uptrend, and you'd be up 55%. And just starting the monthly bounce again this month. And like I said, lots of names getting back to their monthly EMA 26. So if Tilray did that, that'd put us up around $5.74. CGC, if it gets back to its EMA 26, that'll put us at $4.86. But in order to confirm a monthly uptrend, we need to break resistance there at 192. So we have our low, high, higher low. We're starting the monthly bounce. Looks like our higher low is established there at 47-cent double bottom USD. And then starting the monthly bounce, we look all about 192 resistance from here. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, weekly bounce underway, and like I said, look at that; those EMAs getting very close to crossing. And yeah, we avoided that EMA, weekly MACD bear cross. We got very close to happening, so I'm just a little hesitant right now. I think we could, like I said, the S&P 500 due for weekly consolidation as well. We could still see this cross bearish and see one more potential dip on CGC. If we got weekly consolidation on the S&P 500 and a bear cross, and we didn't have any news or anything like that with regards to MJ or CGC, I think it could, like I said, create a bear cross, and then we would see downside from there, and then that could be our final buy the dip moment before we look at changing the monthly trend. But we are seeing a bull cross of the stochastic. We're back above that 10-week moving average there to start the week. So it's looking good, but just a little concerned about that MACD on the weekly. If we can get that bear cross out of the way, then it'd be all systems go. Doesn't mean we can't continue to go higher from here, but it's just one of those indicators that, if 80% are saying bearish and 80% are saying bullish, then we factor that in, right? But yeah, we have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly there at 119. And then on the daily time frame, we're still a ways away before we see a golden cross. So yeah, I'm still thinking that, this is probably not going to be, we're probably not going to change the monthly uptrend from here. I think we could get as high as, maybe $1 again, top out at $1 or just above it, come back down for a weekly higher low and consolidation along with the broader market, and then maybe come back down, go back to around $1, come back down to around 60, mid 60 cents, and then form a weekly higher low, and then break out to monthly resistance, in my opinion. And then we would get her, because we're still a couple of weeks away, at least a few weeks away before we see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, and then at least a few weeks before we see a golden cross. And then, like I said, that weekly MACD still teetering on the edge of a bear cross. I'm just a little skeptical of this rally here, and bulls, especially with the broader market, likely due for weekly consolidation. So I think that we could potentially top out here. 80 cents is right there at 78 cents is at EMA 26 on the weekly time frame. So I think somewhere around mid 80 cents to a dollar is an area to target a potential top, but we'll know that the weekly high or the weekly bounce is set once we lose the daily uptrend. So that'll be key going forward on CGC. And in order to maintain the daily uptrend, we have to hold 52 cents support or confirm a daily downtrend from here. So if we started, more than likely a daily inside bar tomorrow, or let's just say we continue the daily bounce tomorrow, then on Wednesday we lose the low of Tuesday, we start daily consolidation, we come down, we form a lower high and a lower low. That would be our top of the bounce, our high, our low, our lower high, and then lower low. So if we got that lower high and lower low, that would mean we would be in a daily downtrend, and then at that point we could expect weekly consolidation. But based on this move here this week, it's probably not going to happen this week. It's probably going to be next week at the earliest, I would think. So hopefully that helps. But like I said, bulls in full control at the moment. We did have a daily resistance level there at 78.9 cents. And then after that, nothing really until $1.07, and then $1.57, and then monthly resistance there at 192. Just checking in on the community here. All right, let's take a look. Al wants to take a look at Tilray. Thanks. How come MJ rallies while broader market is down? Sector rotation. Yeah, so I think like right now we're seeing SPY's not really down a whole lot. But yeah, precious metals consolidating, and then SPY just barely starting daily consolidation, but it closed basically in the middle of today's range. So no major red flags. We're down slightly after hours. But yeah, it's mostly just risk on assets. I think the appetite for risk on assets are back and in the spotlight. And like I said, crypto, Bitcoin seeing a pretty decent rally today, hitting that 42K daily bull flag target. And then we're not really seeing that much upside here, or downside rather, on the S&P 500 yet. So like I said, if we start weekly consolidation, I think that's going to be rough for MJ stocks, because it's going to be hard to shake that market weakness unless we get some kind of news. But everything unchanged, I think we could see some pretty big downside as a result on MJ, and the fact that we're seeing this much movement on some of our names like CGC, ACB, and these are kind of our regular culprits now, right? When we start to see MJ catch a bid, ACB and CGC are usually at the top of the list, and that's just because they are the most beaten down, in my opinion, and they're very, very popular with regards to, they're on U.S. major exchanges. They're very popular with regards to the retail space as well, and like I said, it's just they're beaten down way more than like a Tilray, for example. But we're looking good here. We're seeing EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses here on Tilray, ACB, and CGC. So that's kind of been the order of movement right now. Usually CGC runs, it gets the most percentage, then ACB runs, and then we see Tilray. And that's evident in the daily EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses as well. CGC already had its bull cross. ACB's, it's occurring right now, and then Tilray's is very close to occurring. And eventually, it won't be like that forever, but it'll just be rotation into some of those names, and then we'll just continue to look for those trends and patterns, right? But right now, that's sort of been the trend to watch. But I don't think there's that much sector rotation. I think it's just people looking for different opportunities, and with the major catalysts on the horizon for MJ, like I said, I think it's a great play over the next 6 to 12 to 2 years, right? Like 6 to 12 months to 2 years. I think MJ is going to be one of the best performing sectors, and I think a lot of people know that just based on how beaten down we are, and like I say, the broader market starting to show signs of weakness and topping, and more than likely going to enter a multi-year bear market. That money got to go somewhere, right? Absolutely. So a little bit of rotation going on, but I wouldn't say we've seen like full-fledged rotation going on yet. We still need to confirm monthly uptrends and weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses. And if we get that, then I think we're going to see massive rotation from other sectors. But right now, we're starting the monthly bounce. So like I said, if we broke, I think I mentioned it on my my live stream that I did, the public ticker request video, that Tilray could be a monster swing trade if we break 199 and start the monthly bounce. And that could have been an awesome entry there at 161 with a stop below 150. Essentially risk 11 pennies to make, a dollar. So yeah, you're risking about 10% to make 100 to 200%. So that's great risk to reward. But yeah, all about monthly resistance there at 340. But we're starting the monthly bounce, so we could go another 71% from here and still just be looking for that monthly higher high. So bulls would still have to go another 70% to even change the monthly trend. So I can't see that happening this month. Maybe January, February. But I think there's a potential that we get, we get very close to that this month. Maybe come back to EMA 12 there around 257. And then 209 is the high of this month. 257 would bring us to EMA 12. And then I think potentially, like I said, into January, February, when we get the new year, we get TFSA contribution room, tax loss harvesting's over, then we start to go higher from there. And like I said, if we can see alt season happen over the next few months and then spillage into, March, April, peak out there. We also have the Bitcoin halving as well in April. So that's going to be another event to watch out for. And I think that might end up being a buy the rumor, sell the news as well. I think Bitcoin spot ETF getting approved, and then into April where we get the halving, everybody's going to use that, it's the 4-year cycle. Every time every time the block reward gets cut in half and Bitcoin goes through its halving, we go up from there. And then they're probably going to, what I think is going to happen is they're going to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF over the next month or two, and then they'll make it go live somewhere around April, May, after the halving, and then they'll use that as exit liquidity. And then I think that's when the floodgates will start to open for MJ. And then that could potentially be our monthly uptrends confirming on Tilray. But if the broader market enters a multi-year bear market, we could see, some slight downside. Like we could see a lot of downside very quickly in MJ. If the S&P 500 drops, 10% in a week or 15% in a week, which very well could, it has done, not too long ago, a couple years ago in that turmoil, then obviously MJ is going to see quite a bit of downside as well, but I think it would recover quickly and be one of those sectors that performs the best. But in terms of the weekly time frame here, so weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross already played out for Tilray. That was way back here on HHS's recommendation, right before it actually. So it's almost as if people knew what was coming. And then CGC, that's what we're looking for as well. We're still looking for that EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. In terms of the daily time frame on Tilray, so we have our low, high, higher low. So we had that daily equilibrium, and it ended up being a bear break, but bear trap. So we came down, lost support, then we came back up, bulls bought the dip, and then we got a real move. That kind of shocked me, to be honest. Even MSOS, I didn't think that this was going to play out, but this goes to show you that you don't really, it's not about being right or wrong, it's just looking at support. I mean, as long as we didn't lose 622 on MSOS, it was still intact. Right? So it's not, this whole time here, we could have said, we're doubtful, but it doesn't matter as long as 622 held. Daily bull flag remained intact, and then we looked at resistance 702. So for here, we were unsure, and then we finally broke 702 today, and we held our support there at 622 and confirmed it. So it's just all about data, support and resistance, and checking in on a daily basis, right? Or sometimes every couple of days or a weekly basis, depending on, if you're swing trading. But yeah, weekly time frame, we still haven't formed a weekly high or low now on MSOS since 492, so it's due for a pretty big pullback. And then in terms of Tilray's weekly, we do have weekly support there at 172, so we've got some decent support there. And then 161, it's actually a weekly double bottom there as well, so while we were looking for a monthly higher low and then a weekly double bottom at 161 with a stop below 150. Wow, that would have been another monster swing trade as well, currently up at almost 30%. But that's kind of the name of the game, right? You want to enter when we're near support. It's kind of the opposite of what people want to do, right? When we're down at 161, people don't want to buy it. Then we start the weekly bounce, and now it's, you know, people start chasing, right? And you could even draw a trend line here if we do start to come back down on weekly consolidation over the next week or two, maybe somewhere around that 170 area. But things are getting interesting. So the high of the day today was 209, like I said, and then we had resistance there at 210. So we're hitting that resistance. But after that, 218, and then nothing until about 263. But we could still see this EMA 12 and 26 bull cross into tomorrow, and increasing bull volume. So let's see, maybe we even get a nice gap up tomorrow, and then a potential for a pullback and daily consolidation. But it's looking like maybe daily inside bar into tomorrow based on the size of this range from the low to the high there, over 10% range. So could be a daily inside bar for Tilray into tomorrow. This is looking good on the weekly time frame, where we have a bull cross with a stochastic. We got above the 10-week moving average, and now we're seeing the MACD weekly bull cross. And like I said, we've seen usually see CGC, then Aurora, then Tilray, and Tilray's been lagging. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tilray busted up to that 50 weekly there around 233 this week. But yeah, we already had the golden cross on Tilray. We came back down. We actually had a death cross, choppy action. But like I said, this is usually what happens when people, you know, golden crosses and like head and shoulders and things like that. Those are very, very basic entry level like patterns and indicators and signals that we look for. And then most people, you know, retail traders, they see this, oh, look, the 50-day and the 200 are crossing. It's a golden cross. We're definitely breaking out from here. We got to buy it. And then we get a massive shakeout before the breakout, right? And this is the shakeout. And now I think we're very close to seeing that massive breakout that we were all expecting. But again, we just need to keep an eye on SPY and this weekly consolidation at 453.34. That could put a temporary halt in things. So it's looking pretty good though at the moment. Tilray on the weekly time frame, definitely one of the stronger names, and we're just looking for that monthly uptrend to confirm. But we did have resistance there at 210. But like I said, the fact that we see that trend, CGC, then ACB, and then Tilray, and it's usually CGC with the most percentage gain, then ACB, then Tilray, and it's usually that order. We see CGC move, then ACB, then Tilray. So like I said, I think there could be a little bit more leg left here in this move for Tilray, but we just got to continue to watch the S&P 500 for weekly consolidation, because that would likely mean a temporary pause in this rebound here on the monthly time frame as we look for monthly uptrends to confirm. But yeah, starting the monthly bounce now this month. So now we'll look for key resistance at 340. We do have EMA 12 there as well at 257, so that's going to be, and then like 250 psychological, right? So I think 250 at EMA 12 could be a nice target for a monthly top this month. And then, like I said, into 2024 is where I think we'll confirm the monthly uptrend. So I think we still got a couple months yet before we confirm this, but hopefully I'm wrong and we just break to monthly higher highs this month. And that's what I'm sure all of us would love, but I just don't think that is the most likely scenario. Checking in on the community. Nothing really developing for news. Do you think altcoins will run a bit when ETFs get approved in January? I think you said you expect XRP to run to $3 in January. I don't recall saying $3 on XRP in January, but I think that very well could happen. That would put us almost at all-time high territory. But yeah, I mean, we had the EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on XRP. We bring up the weekly time frame. Whoops. We're still holding the 10-week moving average. We did have a bear cross there of the stochastic, and the MACD is set to potentially curl bearish here as well. So I was saying for a while that at least for the last couple of weeks, I think we could see 50 cents or a slight flush of 50 cents on XRP one more time, and then I think that'll be one of the last times we'll get to buy before all-time highs. So I'm still thinking there's a good possibility that we hit 50 cents or a slight flush of 50 cents, and then we're very close to seeing the weekly bull cross as well on these moving averages, the weekly moving averages, but it's still a ways away before we see it, more than likely a month or so. So again, adding to why I think we could see a little bit more downside and a potential 50 cent support test and flush thereof. But yeah, in terms of your question, do you think altcoins will run a bit when ETFs get approved? I think it will. So like I said, I think Bitcoin will run the most, obviously. You know, we'll see massive euphoria in the Bitcoin chart. We'll see, you know, dominance probably hitting somewhere around that 58-60% dominance. And then it'll top out, and then it'll retrace. It'll just be healthy, in my opinion. Then we'll start to see money trickle down and flow into altcoins. And then, like I said, into April, where we have the halving, I think that's where we could see ETF trading go live. And then most people will think that, you know, is a bullish event. And then it's more than likely going to be the opposite, because the contrarian view, when majority are expecting something, we usually get the opposite, right? So, like I said, majority were thinking that Bitcoin was going to go to 10,000. Now here we are at 42,000, right? Coming off 16,000. Everybody thought we were going to 10,000 and 5,000 again. And here we are at 40,000, 42,000. We're probably going to pull back for a weekly higher low around 35,000, in my opinion. And then we'll see that blow off top. And then instead of, you know, that being a bullish catalyst in the halving, I think that's going to be a bear catalyst. They're going to use the ETFs as exit liquidity. We'll see a ton of upside once the ETFs get approved. And then once they actually go live into the halving in April and May-ish, again, I don't know for sure. This is what I'm speculating on, and based on what the charts are saying and what I think is the most likely scenario. And then, right, and you got to try to put your head in the, you got to try to put your mind as if you were, like, pretend as if you were a market maker, right? As if you were some of these Wall Street crooks. And that just makes the most sense to me. And then, yeah, I think into after Bitcoin runs on that hype of it getting passed, it'll consolidate, alt season will begin, and then we'll see, once the actual spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved, that's when I think we'll start to see the bear market. So again, I could be wrong on time frame. It's the hardest thing to predict, is time. It's almost impossible. But, you know, the idea, the thesis remains the same, is that we see Bitcoin go, then altcoins, then we should see, you know, the whole sector, you know, start to trend higher from there as well. And then we get our blow off top moment, and alt season ends, and then we enter a multi-year bear market rather. And this multi-year bull market is what I think is going to happen. But XRP $3 in January, it's possible. If we get spot Bitcoin ETF approval, and then, like I said, Bitcoin's retracement into January, I think it's possible. It'd probably be late January, I would think, but you never know. This thing can pop off in a hurry when it does, right? Like, it's 2017 bull run here. From the low of December to the high, it happened in a month. So we went up like 17x in a month. So like I said, when this thing happens, it's usually in a span of like 15 to 30 days where we see like life-changing gains, right? But yeah, in terms of where we would expect to top out, I think if we just do what Bitcoin and Ethereum did and target our 3.618 fib extension, that'd put us around 8 to 12 bucks. So 2.618 there, around 850, and then 3.618 around 1170. So I think $8 to $12 is very doable in the next bull market. And once we break to blue sky breakout and new all-time highs on XRP, but I think we could hit $15 to $20 on the high end. I just think that $8 to $12 is more realistic. But I'll definitely be keeping some. I'll be taking some profit at $5, some at 10, and then I plan to be mostly all out by, you know, that $12 area. But I'll hold. I'm going to be holding at least, you know, 10% of my XRP forever, and then, yeah, probably look to be all out around 75 to 90%. Around 12 bucks, and then, like I said, I'll hold that the rest indefinitely. And then if we drop back down to, you know, if we go to like 10 bucks and drop down to $5, I'll buy more, right? once I do sell my XRP position, the majority of it, I'll probably be rotating majority of it into other investments, right? All right, hopefully that helps. Not seeing any other ticker requests at the moment. So SPY, like I said, did close right at the pretty much the middle of today's range, and it's all about weekly support there at 453.34. All right, going to end it there. It's going to be a busy week for me this week as well. We just got back from the mountains and trying to get one last trip in before the end of the year and before it gets too cold, and then also expecting our child in the next couple of months as well. So had a blast. We went to Banff, and then we went to Canmore for the night. So we did the day in Banff, and then we stayed in Canmore, and then just got back late last night. Thank you. You're welcome. But yeah, great to get my Airbnb back again, and definitely going to be using Booking.com and Vrbo a lot more. But I really like Booking.com. Yeah, hopefully this never happens again on Airbnb. All right, have a great one, and we'll talk to everybody in the chat room in a little bit.